Well, while Botox is well known as a cosmetic tool, it's also helping transform lives of patients with life-altering facial twitches.
Two people from Houston share how the neurotoxin actually changed their lives.
You reduce the Botox.
Cassie Cope and Steve Livingston can't imagine their lives without their Botox treatments.
15 minutes in and out, and it's helped tremendously.
We hit on the right formula, and it's miraculous.
Steve suffered facial trauma after routine cataract surgery about 15 years ago.
Immediately thereafter, I had this, what I call a cramp in the right eye, and my face would pull up like this. The way I describe it is, if you get a leg cramp at night, you jump out of bed and you kind of hobble around, and all of a sudden the cramp goes away and you're fine and you go back to sleep. Well, this cramp happened in my eye and it never went away. And it got to the point where I couldn't sleep. Reading was very difficult.
That went on for 10 years until he was referred to oculofacial plastic surgeon Dr. Murwat Sami.
It was very frustrating, as you can imagine, when half your face is just tightening up on itself and you cannot control it. Not only did it cause a distortion of the lower part of his face to where his smile would be affected, but it was a constant pain in his head, and he was unable to keep that eye open, so he would lose that binocular vision. And in his case, you know, that first treatment, and it was like he was a new man because he could finally sleep again.
It's a simple treatment using a product that was created for eye problems in the first place.
The history of Botox is very interesting because it was discovered and used in the eyes by ophthalmologists. We know that Botox is a paralytic, so anytime you have a muscle that's either working overworked or it's working too much, or you want to weaken it to, say, realign the eyes, that's how we first started using Botox to address strabismus, which is crossing of the eyes or misaligned eyes.
But when wrinkles accidentally disappeared, it morphed into a cosmetic treatment. The medical side of Botox has helped Steve for the past 5 years, and it has been life-changing for Cassie since she started using it a few months ago.
I've had a facial twitch for 10 years now. I had major surgery to try to fix it. It wasn't something that was fixable with that.
But now, Botox is helping her symptoms. Hemifacial spasms are a neuromuscular problem that cause muscles to contract on one side of the face.
These are conditions that are devastating because they have no control over the facial muscles. They're either closing too hard, closing too much. People can actually go functionally blind because they're unable to keep their eyes open long enough to see. And in those situations, we use Botox. We have a very titrated dose that we inject directly into the muscles that are spastic, either in half the face or around the eyes, and it helps reduce the spasms. Kind of feel like
Botox is considered a treatment, not a cure, but Cassie's thankful for it and says after the effects kicked in, it was life-changing for her.
The headaches are way less. The aggravation of the twitching is way less, of course. You know, you have confidence to be able to sit and talk to people again. So it was just a major change.
Hey, and here's a really positive note about it. Health insurance does take care of the cost since it's a medical treatment and not a cosmetic enhancement in these cases.
Wow, and that could be hundreds of dollars. How often do they get it?
It depends. So anywhere from 2 months to 6 months, and you would probably have to do that for life, possibly.
Right.
So medical insurance makes a difference.
That sure does.
Yeah.